First area was accident protection. So he was an expert in the safety mechanisms of explosive devices. He was an expert on safety technology. He organized exhibitions, for example. In Ústí nad Labem he organized a big exhibition on the newest safety devices. Obviously the employers didn't want to pay for the new safety, but he had to promote it. His second responsibility was, this was his main job. He was a lawyer, and the factory owners, they always launched claims against the insurance institute. They said, the fee is too high, my fee has to be lowered, and they give a lot of technological reasons for that. My factory is actually safer than the insurance institute classifies us. Kafka had to answer these claims, and he had to beat them down, to rebuke them. He had to make the insurance institute safe from these claims. So that was about a lot of money. Very important story, of course, is the trial, where the protagonist, K, is looking for the courts because he has been called to give a statement to a court. He has been accused of something, he doesn't know what it is. And he doesn't find the courts in the court palace, where the court actually is, but he has to go to the workmen's quarters, to the workers' quarters. And these very weird courts in Kafka, the trial, they are working in the houses of the working class people. Among the wives washing the laundry, and the children are playing, and the judges are there. So this is a very strong image of this new kind of law that intrudes into people's lives. What we find uncanny about Kafka, uncanny, unfamiliar, strange, is the experience of uncanniness which people at that time had when they were involved in this new system of social insurance. I think the influence was very, very huge. It has been completely underestimated. In Kafka's stories, there is a certain pattern of events, which I call his poetics of accident. What happens if you have an accident, when you have an accident? It's very simple. You live your normal life, suddenly something happens. You don't know what happens. Everything is completely different because, for example, a car runs into your car and you are very shocked. And your situation is new and you have to reorient yourself. You have to recover from the accident, and then you have to claim your damage to your insurance company, for example. So some office has to acknowledge you are actually a victim, you need to be recompensated. And basically that happens in Kafka's stories. You have Report for an Academy, the story of the monkey. He gets shot, he gets caught, he realizes his new situation, he thinks to readapt. Well, I'm a monkey now, I'm a caught ape. I don't want to be in the zoo, so I want to be in Varieté. And in the end, he gives a report of his whole story to an academy. So he has to report his damage. The same, of course, K in the castle, das Schloss Zamek. The third function he had in the institute was more unofficial. He wrote a lot of public reports. Reports to the government. He wrote 4 or 5 major media articles. He tried to convince the unions and the factory owners that they should listen to the law of statistics, to the actual proof of how much damage a company can produce and how much damage needs to be covered, rather than to give some irrational way of argumenting why should we pay less. So he was kind of public relations person for social insurance in the Habsburg Empire. His regional responsibility was northern Bohemia, Ústí nad Labem, Litoměřice, these areas, basically dominated by German population, because he was German speaking. He certainly will have had correspondence with Brno, some exchange, because he was at the second level after the CEO. So certainly he knew about the situation in Brno. Had Kafka lived, he might have, well, ended up in Brno for a few years at least.